Hello and welcome to Grim Survival. I am sitting out in the cold in the shed, opening a box because I'm sure the title gave it away. I'm going to attempt to build or to create, I suppose you should reword, create some fire starters with pine resin and what's in the box here. What's in the box are very small, very thin popsicle sticks. And yeah, they are perfect fire starters per se. I mean, I have actually used popsicle sticks as a fire starter before. And sorry about the noise, plastic is loud. And using a fire or a popsicle stick as a fire starter is usually very, thin pine wood, usually. So, yeah, these are very thin in diameter. And even without no help at all, you can use this as a fire starter. And I will try to demonstrate that. It takes quite a bit. I don't know if you can see it. It takes quite a bit to get it to take. Not too much, actually, because there it goes. And look, that'll burn like that for quite a long time if you have one of these. But, as with all things, we have to make it better. So what I'm going to do is try to infuse this with pine resin. And don't worry, I have a charcoal grill next to me where I am putting all the things so I don't catch anything on fire. All right, so the lighting on me is going to be bad because the light is over the table and I have to set the thing differently. All right, so that's warm. It's cold out here. There you are. So what I'm using is my little camp cook set that I got very cheaply. I think I paid $5 for it. And this portion of it is actually a frying pan. Now, what is highly recommended, where did I put it? I know I have it, is not putting pine resin directly into that. Because if you put pine resin directly into the container that is sitting over the heat source, and we are using an electric heater or electric stove here, obviously, but if you put pine resin directly on the heat in the container like this, it could very well flame up and burn out all your pine resin, and then you would have none. So that would be a bad thing, in my opinion. A bad thing. So, yeah. Let me grab a couple of items here that I am in need of grabbing and doing the things with. We'll see how that works out for me. It's questionable. So, yeah. Here is what I'm using. An Altoids tin. This is a bag that was made from an old duffel bag, put Velcro on it, and yeah, the Velcro was actually stitched on, works really well. Inside of there is, you probably can't see it, pine resin. Pine resin. These are, pine resin nuggets. I couldn't tell you what kind of pine tree it came from because I've had it for several years. I got it from Texas, actually. When I lived in Texas, I had harvested it. I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, probably not, but I can see it. The shiny bits in it, I know what it is. It definitely smells like Fatwood, which is a dead giveaway. So basically, I'm going to drop as much of it as I feel I need, which is probably just, I still have this pretty big chunk too. I have a little bit more someplace. I'm just dropping it in the Altoids tin, and I'm putting it over the heat on this little stove. Hopefully. Hopefully that's what I'm doing. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, I do have leather-lined insulated gloves in case of fire. I'm not trying to burn down the shed. I'm not trying to burn down the shed, but in the event that something does occur, I do have a charcoal grill right here, right next to the door of the shed that I will be able to put it into. So, yeah, I can already see smoke coming, and I can already see the, here, let me see if I can show you this. I can already see the pine resin starting to melt and bubble up there. If you can see that on the one side, that's pine resin melting and bubbling. So, yeah. That Altoids tin had been used for a tinder kit before. Tinder, which is just a bunch of dried stuff. And it's melting really quickly, which is, yeah, more than I thought it would. I had been heating up this little portable stove thing for quite a while, just because I'm going to have to trim several of these. It looks like I should have brought my chop saw. All right, well, I have a I have a circular saw. That'd be fun. Probably not the best idea. So yeah, that pine resin is melting rather rapidly. I wasn't thinking it would be that quickly, actually. So obviously this Altoids tin is not going to be very usable after the fact, just because it's not. It's going to be very sticky and messy. And what I'm doing now is trimming some of these, like so. And yeah, you might get some splinters. Basically, I want them to fit. Well, I don't know if I actually want them to fit in there. I'll trim the one, because I think I want some of it hanging out of one end, so I have something to grab it with, which is why I bought this, obviously, other than the fact that I never leave anywhere without my Leatherman. It's always in my pocket. It's a part of my EDC. This little stove that you're seeing here, this little electric thing, is, I can't remember the wattage. I do remember, I think I got it on Amazon, I think. I don't remember the wattage of the thing, but I can tell you that it works really well. Mostly. I mean, it's not really an even heat as most electric stoves are, but what I had it for was my semi truck. When I was driving over the road, I had this in the semi truck, and I used to, with my small cast iron skillet, I would cook things in the truck. Breakfast mostly, because yeah, as a truck driver, you really don't have that much time to eat. So breakfast mostly, and yes, I am having an adult beverage because it's that kind of day. It is definitely melting really well, bubbling up really good, as you can see. And yeah, that is becoming melted pine resin. And I will try to walk you through the process as we go. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit to melt it. And like I said, it's very much recommended that you do not put the pine resin container directly on the heat source, especially if you're using an open fire. Now, I have various means. I could have made an open fire in the grill for this. I have a camp stove that's, actual fire. I chose to use the electric because less possibility of it flaming up on me. And while you have on grid and you have electricity to use, why not use it? So that's the reason for that. For safety reasons, no, not really. I usually take this everywhere I go. This is my Baofeng UV5R. I have a little piece of tape on it. And that is because when I put it in my EDC bag, sometimes the knob gets turned slightly on and kills the battery. So that's why the tape's there. But yeah, tape's easily taken off, and I have it in here just in case. You never know if you might need to, I don't know, have some information. I just always like having it with me. It really does stay in my EDC bag. This is some nasty stuff, let me tell you. Nasty stuff. Trying to switch which side what is on here, and this big old handle keeps trying to fall over, which is a bad idea. There we go. That should help. And I turn the heat up just a little bit, and yeah, this is a stir stick now. But yeah, I have a lot. I think I have 250 of these popsicle sticks, so I'm gonna probably not make 250 of them. I'm gonna make as many as possible, but definitely not 250 of them. That would just not work out very well. Actually, I got this one I burnt earlier that might make a better stir stick. That way I can keep track of it. But yeah, it is melting, and there's ash flying around my face now, I think. Now, I will continue the video here in just a minute. I'm going to let that all melt and show you what the next process is. So, yeah, I'll be back in a minute. All right, I am back. It's very cold out here. The problem I'm starting to see, if you can see the little holes in the back of the Altoids tin there, is the pine resin is starting to fill it up rather quickly. So I think I have too much in there. So what I'm going to do is grab the big chunk. Yeah, that's the big chunk. I don't know if you can see it very well, how it's melting there. Try to show you. There you go. And I'm just going to set that on the top of the grill grate and let that cool off. There is still a little bit of a couple of chunks in here. Now, the basic idea is to infuse this, and I do believe I'm going to have to cut these a little more. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut a lot of these like so. Leatherman. Can't live without it. And I'm going to make about 10 of these just to see how well they work out, give them a good test. I will be back later after everything cools off, and once I'm sure that nothing bad is going to happen, like setting the shed on fire, I will be back to light one of these over the grill just to test it after the fact. Now, as you've seen, prior to putting them in this pine resin, they were already fairly flammable and burned fairly well. It's basically a match, really, without the match head to light it, because that's all a match is. The match is the same kind of wood as this, except for the match has the I forget the name of the stuff on top of it to ignite it. So these are basically a thicker match. I do need to turn the heat up a little bit, and now I'm just going to drop all these sticks in. Let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm making 8 of them right now. It looks like I can fit about 4, possibly 5 of these at once in there. And this is the part you have to worry about not flaming things up. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I've never done this before. Never, ever, ever have I done this before. And my concern with this is it's just going to be a really sticky mess and how to store it after the fact. Because I'm already having these things stick together. I got, pine resin is a natural glue. You mix it with ash and I believe other elements. I actually believe they use manure and ash to make glue out of this stuff. So it is very, very sticky. I don't know if you can see. It's sticking to the edge of that really well. And sorry for the lighting. It's just I'm in a shed, and I'm not used to filming in a shed. So, yeah. Doing all of this with my cell phone as well. And I think I need to heat it up more because it's kind of starting to get too sticky, and I need it to be more liquid. So I'm heating it up more with the sticks in there. Hopefully I don't start a fire. But if I do, I'm not really concerned about it. If the shed burns down, I'm really not concerned about that either. That's the purpose of this. So, yeah, I will get back with you in just a bit. What I think I'm going to try to do before I go ahead and cut the video right here is flip them. I'm going to try to flip them over. The problem I'm seeing is they're all stuck together. So getting them to flip over is not an easy task at all. I will try to show you what I'm doing here. Holding the phone with one hand, flipping. Look at this thing. It's stuck. They're now binding. There's going to be 2 for 1 right there. I will definitely need to separate those before they become permanently like that, because once this dries, they will. And speaking of drying it, I have no idea where I'm going to set these to dry. I have some scrap wood out here. I'm probably going to pick them out of there and use scrap wood. I think the ones I have are ready to be picked out. Now, obviously, I'm going to be using, maybe not. Maybe I won't use that. I really don't want the pine resin all over my Leatherman. So, yeah, a piece of scrap wood. I know I have some somewhere. That's not going to work. That's firewood. So, scrap wood, scrap wood, scrap wood. Where are you, scrap wood? Here we go. This is just a piece of a 2x6, actually. So, yeah. And I'm going to prop that back up, die down the heat a little bit, and try to fish these out of here without burning myself, dropping them and making a huge mess. I'm already getting pine resin on the skillet, which is what I didn't want to do. Trying to find the rest of them. They're kind of blending in very well. Sorry for the camera work. I know it's probably hard to see. I can't get you too much closer. Well, I can try. That's probably about as close as I can get you. So, here we go. Using the nails, and just transferring them over to the block of wood. Now, I still got 4 more sticks. I'm going to go ahead and throw them in there, even though I'm not sure if this is working. It is starting to smoke a lot, so I do need to turn the heat down. That's my indicator of needing to turn the heat down because I don't want it flaming up. So yeah, the heat's already off, which is a good thing. Pine resin is looking very burnt in the bottom of it. It smells very burnt too, so it's not a pleasant smell currently. I've never minded the smell of fatwood when I start fire. I actually think it smells good, to be honest with you. It's a nice smell. But burnt pine resin, not so much. So the other four, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to flip them, if you can see what's going on there. I'm just not sure if I will be able to flip them. Just because I'm getting low on pine resin in the container, and I don't want to put too much more in there because I'm not doing any more than that. So yeah, this is my experiment of the week with my adult beverage and playing with fire. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video. Once those are done, I will show you the end result, let them dry out a bit, and try to test one out and see just how well it actually does work. Yeah, so we'll compare it to the one that is without pine resin and the one with. I'm kind of thinking this one with this giant glob of pine resin on the end of it might make a very good fire starter on its own. So I will definitely, excuse me, test several different theories with this just to see what works best, because I've never done this before, and I watched maybe one video on the topic before I did this. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, I'll get back to you. All right, guys, welcome back. I finished the other ones after I set them to dry. After I set them to dry, they took about 5 minutes to dry, and they're not sticky at all. And that's a benefit because I can actually put them in a fire kit, assuming they work. So now let's test it. All right, as you've seen in the beginning of the video, it really, I know I have a lighter somewhere. I know I do. I always keep a lighter somewhere. Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay, yeah. So like you've seen in the beginning of the video, one of these popsicle sticks burns really well by itself. I'm not going to demonstrate again or compare it at this particular moment. There was a lot of Fatwood resin on that one, but that's not the one I'm going to light. I am going to light one of these just to see how well it works. Like I said, they're not sticky at all. None of them are. They're not. So that's a great benefit to being able to use it for a fire starter, keep it in a kit, whatever one might want to do with it. Now, how am I going to do this? Where did I put that Leatherman? I know I got a Leatherman on me somewhere. I'm always losing stuff. Oh, there it is. I left it on the bench. All right, Leatherman. I am simply going to hold it with the Leatherman. I'm probably going to hold the rounded end because there's a rounded end and the end I cut off to make it fit. So I'm going to hold the rounded end, and I'm going to light the square end. Let's just see what happens. I'm thinking, well, like Fatwood, it takes a second to light it. And like Fatwood, look at that. Wow. Let's not set the shit on fire. That burns really well. That is an excellent fire starter. So, if you have pine trees near you, I will show this in another video. That works. Stinks. That works really, really well. That is awesome. I have made some fire starters. That is really awesome. What I'm going to end up doing with them is dropping them in a Ziploc bag, or maybe vacuum seal them. Maybe. It's not really necessary to vacuum seal them, but probably put them in a Ziploc style bag and put them in one of my fire kits and add them to my collection of fire starting material. That worked really, really well. I mean, you've seen how well that burned. Yeah, just to test the theory here. This is just one with I was using it for a stir stick, so it was burnt prior. This is the one I tested without the Fatwood, so it's got quite a bit of resin stuck to the end of it. And just because, look at that. Oh, this one's got a glob of it on there on the end. There we go. Let's not burn down the shed. Whoa, we're dropping fire. Okay. That's just awesome. That one's going into the grill because I don't need it. But yeah, put the lighter back in my pocket and stop playing with fire in the shed. It's cold out here. Can you see? That's my breath. It's really cold out here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Making your own Fatwood. Very possible. I will show you a video soon Not sure how soon because I am really busy, but I will show you a video soon of where I can harvest this stuff because I know a housing addition near a family member's house that is lined with just pine trees, and I actually found some fat wood on them because the housing addition itself uses pine trees for their landscaping. And when they're using them for their landscaping, they're constantly trimming off the lower branches and stuff like that. So when they trim the lower branches, pine resin seeps out and creates a big glob on the end of where that branch was. So that being said, all I got to do is go up there with either a knife or the multi-tool and knock a little bit off and collect it. And like you've seen, you can melt it really easily. This is the one that I took out that I was using for melting. Look how much of that I got left. I mean, I have quite a bit of these left. I could probably make about 50 of these things just with the pine resin I have. There's still more in the bag as well. Very dusty. I still have, another big nugget of it there in the bag. When I dumped it out, there was some smaller chunks too that probably had just broken off over carrying it around like I do, because I do keep this in my vehicle. So yeah, I'll probably convert this from holding just the pine resin and turn that into a fire kit at some point soon. But hey, I'd say that experiment was a success. Worked out very well. Shed is not on fire, so that's a plus. And yeah, it worked. Thank you guys for the morning premiere crowd. This is going to be a morning premiere video. I'm not sure if I will make this morning premiere just because I'm going to be dealing with my vehicle at about the same time this probably will premiere. So maybe I'll just drop my vehicle off a little bit later and try to make it. Maybe we'll see. If I'm here, hey, I'm here. If I'm not, you know why. All right, so yeah, making your own Fatwood, it worked. It really worked. I'm impressed. I really am. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all your support. I definitely am going to start doing more firearm related videos over on my Patreon. If anybody's interested in that, let me know. I'm going to try because you know how that works with YouTube and Patreon and all that stuff, censorship and such. But anyway, I'm going to try. So hey, this has been James with Grim Survival. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.